Lesson 22.2, Task 4. Compare two data distributions. Angela and Caitlin compete for different local high school teams in long jump event at track meets. The measures of their best jump in each of the last 10 track meets are shown in the table. The histograms and box plots below display the data for the two girls. Alright, so you can see here it's distance in meters for their long jumps. And here's the distance for Angela, her 10 long jumps, and for Caitlin's 10 long jumps. All right, so if they make a frequency chart, you can see that Angela's is kind of more spread out than Caitlin's. Also shows you that she has more jumps. That's probably at or below 4.99, and you can see Caitlin's her better jumps have landed between 5 and 5.24. So hers are definitely clustered more together, and Angela's are more spread out. Also looks like she's had one really good jump. So she had a great day at one of the track meets. May be considered an outlier because it's, far from the other jumps. All right, let's see what the questions say. Complete the explanation as to how the two distributions are alike and how they are different. All right, so first we're going to look at how they are alike. It says both histograms show several bars with one bar at least twice the height of the next tallest bar. All right, so you can see this one goes from 2 to 5. This one goes from 2 to 4. So those will be at least twice the height. All right, so how are they different? The histogram for blank shows that her jumps have a much wider range. All right, so again, the Angela's jumps, the range goes from the 4 all the way up to the 5.75. So her jumps have a larger range, while the other girl's jumps are concentrated into a much narrower range. The histogram for blank shows a gap indicating that her longest jump is likely to be an outlier. Okay, so that was Angela as well. Again, remember she's got this one jump way out there that's kind of separated from her other jumps. All right, so it says shows a gap indicating that her longest jump is likely to be an outlier for her data, while the histogram of the other girl shows 4 consecutive bars without any gap. Also, the tallest bar in blank histogram is for distance greater than the tallest bar in the other girls. Okay, so Caitlin has the tallest bar. So you can see that her frequency, hers goes to 5. And that ranges from 5 to 5.24, and that's greater than the 4.75 to 4.99 that has a frequency of 4. All right, so it says choose the phrases to complete the explanation. The outlier in the data set for Angela's jumps will have an impact on the blank for that data set. All right, so the outlier affects the mean and the standard deviation. These statistics would give a distorted impression of her overall jump data as compared to Caitlin's data. So I would use the median and interquartile range to compare the data instead. All right, so it says, if you look here, you can see the box plots. You can see the interquartile range here for Angela is lower than Caitlin. You can also see that it does have a higher range. You can also see that it has her one jump shows here as an outlier that's separated from her box and whisker plot. All right, it says complete the explanations as to what the box plots show about the consistency of the girls' jumps. Blank jumps at somewhat more consistent. Okay, I would say Caitlin jumps somewhat more consistent since the box portion of her box plot represents 50% is narrower than the same portion of the box plot for the other girl's jumps. So you can see here where this is a narrower box than this. That shows that her inner 50% of data, all your 50%, your middle 50% of data always falls within Q3 and Q1. So that is how that is determined. All right, complete the explanation as to why the box plot for Angela shows a dot that is separated from the rest of the plot. Again, that's her outlier. So because she had one day where she just had like a really amazing jump, that's going to be an outlier. So that represents 1.5 times her inner quartile range. All right, so it says, which of the girls is more likely to jump further in tomorrow's track meet, where both teams are competing? Explain your reasoning. Okay, so looking at this, it looks like she, on average, is jumping much further than this girl. So I would say Caitlin has a better chance to jump better in tomorrow's track meet. All right, that's all for task 4. If you have any questions, let me know.